Beware.
The Cherry Stem Killer, Chapter 4. I told Charles I would be there as quick as I could, then hung up. I laid there dreading having to get up out of this bed, and just stared up at the ceiling, trying to rub the slumber from my eyes. I pulled the covers aside and swung my legs over the side of the bed, my feet jumping as they touched the cold floor. It was especially chilly this morning. Oh, how I missed the old carpet under my feet. Then maybe they wouldn't be so cold. But the wife wanted tile floors, and how could I argue that? I finally got out of bed and got a quick shower, then dressed quickly, maybe a little too quickly. I almost tripped and ate shit trying to get my pants on in the dark. After successfully getting dressed, I kissed my wife on the forehead and headed out. The location of the latest victim was behind the Romano's building, a very tasty Italian restaurant on the west side of town. I've taken the missus there plenty of times, a favorite of ours actually. Try the meatballs, you won't be disappointed. A half hour it took me to arrive at the scene, making myself hungry, thinking of the delicious cuisine the entire drive. When I pulled up in the back of the restaurant, there was already a crowd gathered. Press and police scanners, surfers, following every detail of this case, were in my way. As I pushed my way through, I screamed at two regular beat cops that were leaned up against the wall, talking to each other, to get a proper cordon up, and pushed a line of onlookers back, out of eye shot of the victim. We're trying to work here, you dumb bastards. I then made my way to Charles. He then proceeded to fill me in on the details. Vinnie Lee Stahl, 45-year-old male, was seen a few hours ago dining inside with a woman who is no longer on the premises. The waiter said they both disappeared and no one paid the check for their meal. They both just vanished. Well, I think we now know where he disappeared to. Back here getting his ass killed, I said smart-assedly, as I knelt down to examine the body. The victim's throat had been cut, deeply, I might add, almost to the point of severed. No other wounds were visible, but I'll find out completely when he's examined by Dr. Andrews later. And of course a cherry stem was found next to the body, on the ground next to his mouth. Speak of the devil. As I stood back up, the coroner's van pulled up, and out walked Dr. Andrews. I told her to keep me updated, then walked into the restaurant. The first to greet me was the owner, George Papa Romano, a large Italian gentleman who looked like he was about to keel over from a heart attack due to the stress. Understandable. A horrific murder such as this would stress out any restaurateur. Definitely not great for business advertisements. I had somebody grab him a glass of water and told him to relax and take a seat. I had a few questions for him. I asked if anything stood out with the couple when he stopped by their table as he made his rounds greeting the guests. If he remembered them at all. He proceeded to tell me, well, yes, the restaurant was very busy. He remembered this couple in particular because the woman was all over the victim, kissing and rubbing. It was making others uncomfortable to be around them. But other than that, nothing seemed strange. No violence whatsoever, not even raising of voices. Asked the waiter the same, and they had the same response. Nothing out of the ordinary, just a loving couple. I asked to review the security footage and was ushered into the back. Our couple in question arrived at the restaurant at approximately 10:30 in the evening, and I could tell it was the same woman from before, just with different hair, shape, and color. I sat and watched them trying to pick up any clues. Everything the owner and waiter said proved to be true. Other than the woman being all over the victim, nothing seemed off. And she was all over him, too. I almost thought she was going to unzip his pants and give him an old-fashioned handy right there at the table. They sat at the table enjoying their meal for about an hour, then got up and headed towards the bathrooms and the back door. I proceeded to lose my shit. At that point, however, when I was informed the cameras in the back and in the alley behind the restaurant were not working, so I was not able to see the murder take place. I was fuming. What else could possibly go wrong right now? Charles then walked into the room and leaned into my ear. He told me Dr. Andrews found something, and it's a bigger surprise than the last victim. Oh, great, I thought. How lovely. The hits just keep on coming. And then made my way back outside, where I saw Dr. Andrews leaned over the victim. She looked up at me with a solemn look on her face and said, "You thought missing testicles were bad. How about the entire organs?" She sarcastically exclaimed as she opened up the flap of skin from the large incision down the victim's sternum, revealing the replaced organs with the cloth-wrapped cult-inscripted new parts. Who is this woman? Do I have to start worrying about a cult now? How much stranger can this case get? I would like to give a heartfelt thank you to the special friends of the channel for your overwhelming generosity. If you would like to support the channel, the link is below in the description. Also, please send me your stories and poems to duchessofdarkness27@gmail.com. You can also find me on Instagram at duchess.ofdarkness and Twitter at duchessofdarkn2. I want to thank all my listeners for your kindness, your encouragement, and your support. It means the world to me. Thank you for joining me. Until next time.